make upgrades, and then we fly again. Ultimately, we fly to learn, and we're learning a lot.
That's right. Now, for today's flight test, we're going to be attempting to do everything we didn't get to do on Flight 7. We're still looking to get our first re-entry with this upgraded version of ship. Also intentionally trying to stretch it to gather real-world data on just where the vehicle's boundaries are. So don't be surprised if it's not a smooth flight down to a landing for ship today. As always, it's going to start with liftoff, the 33 Raptor engines on super heavy igniting, lifting both it and Starship into its ascent, and it's going to power us all the way until hot staging.
Yeah, those engines on the ship will ignite while the ship is still attached to the booster. This will create that stage separation that we see there. Second stage will continue to go on its way. The booster will make a flip and come back here to the launch tower just behind Dan and I for hopefully what we will see the third ever booster catch.
Meanwhile, ship continues its ascent, gets into its suborbital place in space. We're going to have a test satellite deploy, pew-pew, Starlink's firing out. And then we're also going to do a Raptor relighting one of those sea-level engines before we get to ship re-entry.
By the state machine.
And the ship will continue through, make its entry phase that lasts for a few minutes.
Did we, get a hold? No, the clock is still going.
And if some comms did just go out, we heard that an operator hold got in, so they are troubleshooting one issue. As we continue to move through prop load, we'll get some more details on what caused the hold, and if we start to reset to a new T0. We are still loading prop on the vehicle, so essentially putting that hold in means that if we get through everything and we hit that T-minus 40-second mark, we'll hold there and wait to clear the issue if we haven't cleared it at some point in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, for those that are unfamiliar, that T-minus 40-second period is an opportunity to troubleshoot, unlike our Falcon timeline. So we do have a little bit of leeway. Yeah. Continuing on with today's plan, that ship will be making a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean, as we have seen before. We are launching at 5:45 p.m. Today. This evening launch will allow us to have daytime views of the ship as it makes its splashdown. So
yeah,
good news.
It's a lot on ship's plate, but we're still hyper-focused on finding all of those real-world limits of Starship. We want to be able to prepare to return ship to launch site and catch it. A lot of these recent upgrades are just made to enable that to actually happen.
Flight 7 premiered a huge block of upgrades to the upper stage to add more capability to Starship. And with Flight 8 today, we're hoping to get through a full flight. Starting us off, the forward flaps got a redesign. They shrunk in size and shifted toward the top of the vehicle and away from the heat shield. And that will significantly reduce their exposure to re-entry heating. Also, by making Starship 2 meters taller, we added about 25% more propellant volume, along with propulsion upgrades such as vacuum jacketing of the feed lines, new fuel feed line system for Raptor vacuum engines, and an improved propulsion avionics module.
Yeah, ship got a little bit taller. That extra prop's going to allow us to fly those longer missions. We're not planning on stretching it a whole lot more beyond this in future ones, but then, you know, once we're flying the next version a lot, it'll be going. Just like the previous flight, a lot of tiles have been purposely removed. As again, we're trying to stress test all of the vulnerable areas, call this the missing tile test. Those tiles are removed in strategic locations all across the vehicle, including critical areas like those tanks and over the flap seals, as we use this flight to just really push those boundaries. In addition to that, we have some metallic tiles again that are being tested, including one on the right of this animation that has some active cooling built in.
The vehicle's avionics also underwent a complete redesign with things like 4 upgraded Starlink terminals, combining Starlink, global navigation, and RF communications. You can see that location there on your screen. And on the sides of the vehicle, non-structural versions of the ship's catch fittings are installed to test the thermal performance, along with a smoothed and tapered edge on one section of the tile line to address hotspots that we observed during Flight 6.
And once more, we're back at testing some radar sensors on those tower catch arms. We did that last flight. We're doing it again as we look for some additional ways to measure the distance between the arms of the vehicle. Catching the ship's going to be pretty different from catching the booster. It does that flip right before, so your antennas are going to rapidly reorient. And so just having any extra sensors on the ground side, you're adding extra layers of control while the ship and tower talk to each other for a catch.
In another first, Starship will deploy 4 Starlink simulators. They are similar in size to our next-generation Starlink satellites. With unparalleled payload capacity and full reusability, Starship will be able to deploy satellites, which will revolutionize global connectivity with Starlink all over again.
Each one of those
my OBS is acting
Starlink
up.
V3 launches
This
on a
beta,
Starship
this
is going to add about 60 terabits
application
of
audio
capacity
capture
to the
isn't
Starlink
really
network.
working
To give you some context,
for
that's
Discord.
about 20 times the capacity of what we're adding with every V2 mini launch in a Falcon 9 right now.
Yeah.
That's going to help us expand Starlink's network, expand its impact in the coming years as we expand that access to high-speed internet all around the world, and eventually beyond. And the Starlink simulators that we're deploying today, they're going to be on the same suborbital trajectory as Starship. We expect them to demise as they enter in the atmosphere.
Man,
And the
Raptor
Starship
3
trajectory itself looks very similar to our last several flights, splashdown targeted in the Indian Ocean. And on top of all of that, we're also going to relight a single Raptor engine again while in space. We're just trying to get data on in-space Raptor burns. You're going to need those for the orbit burns.
I didn't know Starship was going to deploy something today.
Way beyond
I did not know that.
Yeah, so just like you said earlier,
I mean, I'll keep up.
Starship's plate for today. But one of the hallmarks of these Starship flights are the incredible views that we get throughout the flight, courtesy of Starlink. Every day, we're working to expand the Starlink network both on Earth and in space.
Yeah, but this
For how
audio
all
capture
this
is working
connects us
well
to
enough.
the big mission, let's head back to Chris.
You can be heard more on the YouTube than I can actually hear you.
May know that Starlink enables us to bring you a lot of those unprecedented views, both from space and on Earth. Personally, I love all those epic views of the plasma wrapping around Starship during re-entry. So
But your
thank
mic
you
is
to our
really
Starlink
quiet,
teams to
so-
enable all of those amazing views.
Oh,
and
is
the
it?
information you get. Now, in addition to the dozens of cameras on Starship itself, as you see on your screen here, we also have mobile Starlink camera kits deployed in the Indian Ocean, as you're seeing from a previous flight. Starlink also allows us to connect our aerial cinematography units on the ground at Starbase and other strategic camera spots around Texas and the world. And that's all
Here, I'm going to go into general on my server.
the incredible story of Starship on and off the planet. So thanks to Starlink, Starship is now capable of streaming more than 120 megabits per second of real-time, high-definition video and telemetry through every phase of flight. This not only provides those incredible views of re-entry for all of us, but also the invaluable engineering data to help our engineers rapidly iterate across all systems of Starship. And all of that streaming data today will be put to good use with the more than 30 cameras that are on the vehicle for today's flight. Now, Starlink is the world's largest satellite constellation operating in low Earth orbit to deliver high-speed, low-latency broadband internet. This provides internet access to people around the world, many of whom have never had connectivity before. Today, Starlink is serving more than 125 countries, territories, and other markets, and has more than 5 million active customers.
Yeah, he's in
But
college.
to meet the growing global demand for high-speed internet, SpaceX recently expanded its factory at Bastrop, Texas, and introduced
I probably have to
Starlink
eat right
versions
before
of
we
our
go.
Starlink standard kit.
Sad.
Here's our first ever
Say
look inside our
no
Bastrop
and refuse to
facility.
eat. Go hungry.
There's like an interesting stat where like the odds of being struck by lightning in your lifetime are about 1 in 15,000. And we make 15,000 dishes a day. If the odds of a defect happening or if the same being struck by lightning in your lifetime, it's almost guaranteed to happen one time in this factory day. So you have to have like a very intense focus on quality.
Starlink manufacturing.
We're in Bastrop, Texas, at the Starlink manufacturing site.
I was watching the guys stream.
Yeah, I'm
It was
watching
sad.
the
And that's Starlink manufacturing site.
I heard they were troubleshooting an issue earlier. Should I just ping everyone? Because why not?
You're forced to live with stakes. What that means is
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
motivated to quickly iterate.
What happened to that kid going, man?
Our previous generation
It's too cool and now or something.
And the demand for Starlink is kept. So when we sat down to design this factory and this version of our production line,
Yeah, I guess
we
so.
were really forcing ourselves to innovate.
Yeah, someone
Late. Calm down.
An expansion to our current factory. We're going to add over
Hello,
1 million
Snark.
square feet of manufacturing space over the course of this year.
Greetings.
And allow us to continue to insource more manufacturing.
Are you watching the
Greetings.
Starship
So we
launch?
continue to go from raw material to completed kit within the walls.
Interesting.
Yeah, you should watch the Starship launch. I'm gonna share my screen.
This factory who made this a reality. Less than 2 years ago,
Where did
no
Bro go?
employees. And over the last 20
He ran
months,
away.
we built a factory from
Ruh-roh.
scratch. We've gone from producing zero kits to over 70,000 a week. And we've gone from 0 employees to over 1,000.
And it is incredible to see all of the tech in that facility that will help millions of people around the world.
It says Discord isn't detecting input from my mic, but clearly you can hear me, right?
And while we're talking about the infrastructure
And I can see my mic light up, so...
probably seen some changes recently around Starbase. Coming online this year is the second tower at Starbase, and this tower has redesigned chopsticks and is built to accommodate the next generation of Starship and superheavy. It will have a redesigned launch mount and flame diverter system built to be rapidly reusable and hardy enough to withstand hundreds of launches at a time. Now, over at the production site down the road, we're also building a new integration and refurbishment facility called Gigabay.
I gotta go into the
This
minute.
will allow us to process more Starships at the same time
Alright,
as
see
our
ya.
current megabays. But Gigabay isn't just tech service. That weren't exciting enough. We're also further expanding Starship operations into Florida.
I don't know
bringing
why
production
the
and launch
actual
capabilities to
screen
space
goes dark.
coast. As Starship
Because it's only like a layer behind.
continues to pick up pace at Starbase in Texas, over in Florida we're building a Gigabay as well. Gigabay will stand 380 feet tall and provide
Gigabay is 380 feet tall.
interior processing space
Jeez, wow.
and about 815,000 square feet of workspace. Now,
Can
you
I'll
believe that double bad?
The
The Gigabay is 380 feet tall.
That's bigger than the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
How
that's
long?
bigger than a full stack.
No,
No, I don't think it's bigger than a full stack. Maybe like half a stack. No, not half a stack. The booster's bigger than half a stack. I don't know what I'm talking about.
And as part of this process, SpaceX has been given a limited right of entry for Pad 37 to conduct further due diligence at the site in order to move forward with the environmental impact study that's being led by the Department of the Air Force. Ultimately, we will have production, integration, refurbishment, and launch facilities in both Florida and Texas, driving the needed flight rate for Starship to help make humanity a
Starship is super cool.
And Kate,
I love Starship.
for literally hours on
Yeah.
end. We've got a Starship.
I'm hoping Neutron launches soon, because I'm using money right now.
Real.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that we're getting close
like
to
19
the
years
around
around
range and weather. For the range, the area
Because that's
around
all
that
I
has
want.
been well cleared. This includes the land, air, and sea space.
Yeah.
All is clear on the range front. That also applies to over in the Indian Ocean. The sea and airspace has been cleared as well for ships re-entry. Once again, we are making a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean. So just the buoy cams are out there, and we'll get some great videos.
I'm just kind of
once again.
sharing my
Weather,
Discord, and the
we have a 35% chance
Starship
of
stream audio will
violating
be there.
the
It's
weather
about 10 minutes till launch, so I'm just going to go full
the weather
screen
constraints for launch today.
and
So
go
it's
on
not
Discord on my
perfect,
phone.
but it's not bad. Visibility also not so awesome.
Right.
We can see the
Starship
tower
looks so
here. We're
pretty
2
with
miles
the
away from the launch
sunset.
pad.
It's not really a
But
sunset,
visibility around
but
the greater
clouds
area might
make
be a
it
little
look like
challenging.
one.
Yeah, in terms of the vehicle itself, so right now you can see we're almost done loading prop on ship, almost done on booster. If you tuned in and heard earlier, we did hear talk about a flight controller hold going in. So just a reminder, all that means is we wouldn't be able to pass that T-minus 40-second mark. They're literally talking about it right now.
Oh, dang, I gotta go.
They think they've got the problem
Alright,
figured
see
out.
ya.
It was an issue on the booster.
See
But
ya.
we think we will be
See ya.
clear by about the T-minus 2-minute mark, and we will be able to move right through that T-minus 40 hopefully. So prop load continuing. We're not holding or anything yet, and we're expecting that issue to clear before we get to that T-minus 40 mark. This morning, though, we did all of the usual checkouts, aligned the navigation systems,
Starship is
did
so
all of
cool.
our booster and ship tank purges, got them ready for prop load, chill down the pad, which you can see all the cryo right now.
Chilling.
Things are pretty chilly out there. Prop load's been going. We just did a flap check out. We also do a wiggle check out on the chopstick arms as well. We are going to continue loading prop for about another 6 minutes. We're going to close
Starship
ship at about 3 minutes, 20
peak
seconds
autism.
before launch. Booster just about 30 seconds later. So we've had at least one issue that we're still working in the background, expecting that to clear before we hit that.
Are you going to
kind of
talk?
that hold gate
Or are
at
you just
T-minus
gonna
40
sit here?
seconds. And looking good.
And be quiet
Bottom
forever.
line, things are looking good for liftoff here in
Yeah.
just under 9 minutes.
Oh,
We're now
finally
that's
you've
it.
talked.
looks like 8 minutes and 49 seconds. So everything's looking green so far.
Yeah. Before we get any closer to liftoff, I need to shamelessly plug Starbase. I'm one of just a couple thousand people who work here. Soon to be the newest city in Texas at Starbase. We're the largest employer in the area. We're always hiring, so visit spacex.com/careers, see all the openings.
Should I
For the
be a
future
janitor
of
at
the build, and it's the
SpaceX
future we can all
while
be pretty
I,
excited about.
like,
So yeah,
get a
come work here.
degree?
Anyway, back to
No,
our
that wouldn't
regularly
make
scheduled
sense.
program. Let's launch a rocket.
All right, so we're coming
Yeah, I
up
just
to
wanna
8
work at
minutes
Starbase.
until liftoff.
Not a
As we
janitor,
mentioned
though.
before, flight controllers are already on console. They're located in our Ad Astra Launch Control Center, about 6 miles away from the pad. But they will soon be moving here with us to Star Factory. So a lot of excitement around that, certainly growing.
Yeah, and again, general status
Starship.
check. We're continuing to progress. We're under 8 minutes
They have
away.
a
We're
million
tracking an
live
issue with
viewers
booster.
right
We're
now, so
expecting
that's
that to clear.
Cool.
So looking
I
good
love
for launch.
Starship.
Speaking of booster, let's talk about catching one.
Absolutely.
The tower's 2 giant robotic arms that lift and stack Starship on a super heavy for
Next
final
flight,
integration ahead
they're
of
going to
flight. We
catch
also
the
use those to
booster
catch.
and the ship.
Means we don't have any
And
landing
the
lights with
booster's
the
going to be
booster. Makes the
reused
booster
from
lighter.
Flight
Means we
6.
can throw more payload into space.
Exactly. Following liftoff and after the 2 stages separate in flight, Super Heavy will return to the launch site, the same exact launch site that it lifted off from, reignite its engines to slow the vehicle down. Here we see playback from a previous booster catch. I believe that was our first booster catch. And
Yes, the
vehicle will
first
slow
catch.
down, tower arms will come out and catch the booster.
And just like the last few times, literally thousands of different vehicle pad criteria have to be met before we bring a booster back and try to catch it. We need healthy systems on Super Heavy, on the launch tower, and we need that final manual command from the mission's flight director for the day. If that command isn't sent before we finish the boost back burn, or if any of those automated health checks kick us out, the booster defaults to a trajectory, takes it to a landing
better
burn, or a
catch the booster.
soft splashdown in the Gulf.
Yeah, we have said it multiple times before, but it still holds true today. We accept no compromises when it comes to ensuring the safety of the public and our team, and the return will only take place if the conditions are right, and there are many of them. So there's a chance that we may not get to catch the booster today.
Yeah. And one aspect of the return and the catch of that booster is the audible sonic boom in the area around the return location. That happens as the booster's slowing down from supersonic speeds. It's similar to sonic booms that were heard during the return and landing of NASA's space shuttle for anyone that was in Florida for those.
Sonic booms like these are unique to vehicles returning from space and are one of the hallmarks of reusable systems like our Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy vehicles. The general impact to those in the surrounding area of a sonic boom is basically a brief thunder-like noise. And I've heard sonic booms before, but I got to experience my first in-person Starship sonic boom on Flight 7, and I can confirm it's pretty fun to experience.
Starship. About 5 minutes. Just replaying. They're just replaying moments from the first flight. Or no, the 5th flight, first catch. Can't believe we're already on flight 8. Feels
And
so
as someone
weird.
who has heard sonic booms many times in Florida, they are definitely a hallmark, and what a way to announce a returning space vehicle's return for reuse. Now, here in California, as you can imagine, the excitement is growing here. The crowd is growing. Kate mentioned our flight controllers in Ad Astra in Texas. Here in Hawthorne, we also have controllers on console in Mission Control, helping those teams in Texas monitor Starship's various systems, including the avionics and those 39 Raptor engines that were built right here in Hawthorne. Now, with 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go, Dan and Kate, how are we looking for a launch today?
Oh, there's Elon walking in the
So
back.
we are still looking good. We're
He's
just
kind
about
of goofy.
fully
I
topped
don't
out
know.
on propellant on both vehicles. The closeout's going to be coming up
He
in about
is,
a minute
but
on
what are you
ship,
gonna
and then
do?
about 30 seconds later on the booster.
He's a kid. He's got all the
We are
tools
still
now.
hearing chatter in the
I don't want
background
to get
about
political,
the
but
booster issue
what
that
I
we're
believe
tracking.
is what Elon is
We may
doing
still be
is
able to pass
good,
the hold,
but
if we
what
need to
he
hold at T-minus
says
40
is
seconds,
bad.
we have
Because he's
several
had
minutes that
arguments
we
with
can hang out
astronauts on
there
Twitter
and work
over
to just kind
political
of
stuff,
troubleshoot
and it's
those
just
final
really
issues
annoying.
before we get the go.
Because it just
Once we're fully loaded on
makes
prop,
himself
which is
look
coming
bad.
up soon, we've got just shy of 11 million pounds of liquid oxygen, liquid
Yeah.
methane on
But
both
yeah.
of those stages.
Yeah, he should
And then once we're
definitely
done,
4
we're going to see
minutes
that
till
try
we're
to
going
stay
to
out
hear
of the
the
spotlight, but
lines do what's called pushback. So all of that propellant gets pushed out of
Try
those
and
lines
talk
back
louder
to the
because I can't
tanks,
really hear
clearing
you
the
too
path
well.
for launch.
Now, in the next few minutes, the guidance
I'm
system
on
will
my
perform
phone,
a
so
final alignment.
Yeah.
not sure how
The
much I can do.
automated flight safety
That's good.
system will be armed, and
Well, I
thrust
got
vector control or
3 minutes.
TVC
I could
checkouts will
probably
be performed.
go over to
As
my
we said, if
computer.
we do need to
Hang on.
hold, it would come at that T-minus 40-second mark. That is the point in the countdown where we can pause to wait for final checkouts or pressurization, or if we need to continue to work through that issue. So once we pass through that T-minus 40-second mark,
3
a
minutes.
number of things are going to happen quite quickly. The ground spin and ignition systems come up to flight pressure. The ship's going to go on to internal power. And after that, the quick disconnect or QD arm lockout is removed in preparation for retraction shortly after T0. And once we do pass that T-minus 40 seconds, we still have the ability to recycle the count under certain conditions back to that T-minus 40 seconds and hold there to assess what happened and if we can proceed again to T0. But that's only in certain situations.
All right, so we're just about 2.5 minutes away. We do have a couple of things like if we hit T-minus 10 seconds and you see water start flowing out of the deflector, that is a reason for us to scrub for the day. Is that's once it's turned on, it doesn't turn off, and then we'll have to refill the tanks on both the water farm and the prop farm. Our team's gotten really, really good at refilling stuff really quick, so we can reposition for about a 24-hour recycle if we need to.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of,
we're
Yeah,
coming up.
they better not
sorry,
scrub.
we're
They haven't
coming up
scrubbed
just
since
under 2 minutes away. Now
like
hearing we
up
might
to
hold
launch,
at that
they haven't
T-minus
scrubbed
40-second
since the
mark
first
while they
flight.
still talk through a couple of troubleshooting steps. But again, if we hold there, we can hold there for several minutes, even with all prop fully loaded on the vehicle.
Just commentating
before
on
we
what this
can
guy's
release
saying.
the hold and decide to move forward.
I really hope Ship 34 survives re-entry.
Almost. Be right back.
All right,
Hello.
less than a minute and a half away. Again, keep your eye on the clock. Look for T-minus 40. We may hold there. It's not a rocket launch unless you're talking
I think it's just
nonstop in the
me.
background until right before you lift off.
Nope.
once again, if we hold at T-minus to Starship, we don't have this ability on Falcon.
53
As we're about
seconds
15
and
seconds
my
away,
quality
we did just hear we are going
severely
to hold
dropped.
at T-minus 40. So look for the clock to pause when we hit T-minus 40 as they finish troubleshooting.
40. All right,
And
are they
then
going to hold?
We'll let you know as soon as we start hearing
They
more,
held.
and if that clock's when that clock's gonna start rolling. So holding at T-minus 40. So the team's talking in the background, still troubleshooting.
Well, now we wait.
We can hang out here for
Very
a couple of minutes.
suspenseful. Are they going to launch or are they going to not launch? I don't know. Are they going to reset the clock? Oh, it's really annoying when they reset the clock. Especially when they do it multiple times, like with the new one launch. I had to stay up till like 2 a.m. for that. And it wasn't even that cool because they didn't have the blue lights on.
Right now.
Dan, you mentioned
I
things
guess
that
I
we've
didn't
gotten
have
really
to
good at.
hurry
It's
back with my
incredible to
water.
think that we just stacked this here this morning, and we're already,
Yeah, I
through
can't really
prop load.
hear
Prop
you
load's
too
pretty
well
much
still.
complete and
I
ready to
think
go.
you were better
It's a
before on your
very
phone,
slimmed down
unless you can
timeline.
like
Yeah, this by far will be our
talk louder or
fastest.
something. I don't know.
We stacked the thing for the first time ever with these vehicles less than 24 hours ago.
I don't know.
We really want to get to a point
I don't
where
know.
we can,
Yeah,
fly
count on hold for
rapidly,
final
fly as
checkout.
quickly as possible. And so this is definitely a case to try and
How
push
about
that forward.
this?
No wet dress or anything like that with these vehicles.
Absolutely.
Is this any better?
And should this booster come back
I
for a
can't really hear
successful
you.
landing, you were talking about the rapid part of rapid reusability. This booster may fly on a future Starship flight if we're able to catch it and bring it back online. So for those of you that have just recently joined us, we have paused at T-minus 40 seconds just to assess and work through a problem that popped up in the countdown, and we are holding here as the teams troubleshoot it. We believe that we have put in a solution and we will be able to proceed, but we have some chatter on some nets indicating that we're just holding here for a few more seconds.
Maybe.
Oh, a few more seconds. Here we go.
This is a great opportunity for the teams. This is unique on Starship. We don't have this ability on Falcon to hold here, partially because there's just so much propellant that it takes longer as a whole for it to cool down with that amount of volume that we have compared to the Falcon vehicle. But this T-minus 40-second hold is pretty cool because
I could hear mission control chatter.
that
Sometimes
would have
they
been
release
a scrub,
mission control audio.
is actually just an opportunity to hold here and work through it. Or I should say many things, not everything.
Yeah, but I
like I
imagine
said, we're
that it'll capture
now, but we
Elon
can also
yelling at
pause
somebody
here
at some
for
point.
final checkouts or
That'd be
completion
funny.
of pressurization to get up to flight levels, that kind of thing. So
Elon isn't really
it's a
in
nice
charge though.
feature to
Gwen
allow
Shotwell
the team to wait for
is.
final checkouts.
He
or,
just owns the
assess
company.
final prop levels or engine health and that kind of stuff.
And they said a few more seconds, like a minute or two ago.
Like a minute or two ago, what?
Yeah, they said they'd resume the clock a couple minutes ago, but it never really did. I might only be able to watch the launch or whatnot, because I might have to eat, I don't know. But if I don't, I'll stay here for like the full hour re-entry and all that.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Well, obviously. I'll still watch it, but I may not be able to stream it like on my laptop and stuff.
See you, Sam.
Yeah. And they've stopped commentating. Uh-oh. I feel like they'll reset the clock. I don't know. Might not be a full scrub, but seeing that it's
All right,
taking
if you're
this
just
long.
tuning in, we are still holding at this T-minus 40-second gate. We cleared an issue on the booster that we were working up until the hold, still working one on ship. And the team still continuing to
Considering that we made it all the way down to the
background.
last 40 seconds,
We can still hold here
this
for
one might
several
not be
more
viable.
minutes.
If they see issues, they always hold at the 40-second mark.
Workaround, then we would have to essentially scrub and stand down for the day. If that does
Well, there
happen,
will be no
we can go as
clock
early as
resets. They're
tomorrow,
gonna have to
but
scrub
that clearly
if they can't
depends on what
get
work
this
we might
working.
need to do to fix any issues. So just obviously stay tuned. But right now, we're a little over 5 minutes into this hold today. We've got a couple more minutes that we can hold at T-minus 40
A
before we
couple
have
more
to take
minutes,
That's
out.
not a
and then-
good sign.
Looking at a lot of those propellant temperatures on both vehicles,
And
you
then
want
no
those
more
to stay in
scrub.
pretty specific
Is it
ranges.
not only a
for
limited time they can
things
do
like
it?
that. That's what generally drives
They
how long
only
we
can do
Okay,
it for
I
a
got
couple
it.
more
T-minus
minutes,
40,
and then
so
they'll have to scrub.
still hanging out. As soon as we hear an update
Yeah.
on the
Alright,
ship,
I gotta go.
we will
Good.
Alright,
we will let
see
you
ya.
know.
DM me whatever happens or whatever. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can see the second tower sort of off in the distance to the right.
It's always nice to have a backup.
It's not even fully built.
It's starting to
So-
sound like we
They're
might
gonna
have a
complete it by
decision
the
real
end of this
soon.
year.
All right,
Oh,
you see
they
the
resumed the
clock
clock.
rolling.
Okay, here we go.
It is time
30
to
seconds.
go
Ticking.
for launch. So
All right.
30 seconds to go.
What have they done? 41
and
more
we just heard a
seconds.
hold.
No.
Kicked.
They
It's gonna be a
restarted the clock and
scrub.
then they
Out
reset
back
it.
to the T-minus 40 hold.
I can
That
just tell.
is-
I don't know. This doesn't seem right. You only have a couple more minutes.
He's calling
I was
me.
so excited, and then they put it back to 41 seconds.
Hello.
Oh, wait. No, they put it to 40. It didn't even count down. Come on.
All right, so as we started counting back down, we did trip a few more holds automatically from the booster itself.
Uh-oh.
So
Booster issues.
we are now going to hang out here again at T-minus 40. They've got a couple more
Well,
troubleshooting
that's
steps
not
that they can take.
good.
If we're able to get through that, we can start counting down
That
again.
is normal.
If
They'll
not, we
probably
could always offload
attempt again
and try
tomorrow
again
or
on
Wednesday.
either tomorrow or another day. But right now we're not done for
Probably
the day
Wednesday.
yet. Still holding
I
at
mean,
T-minus
gotta
40
get clearance
seconds.
and stuff.
And as soon as we hear some more, start seeing that clock move, you will know if we're going to go for our launch attempt today or if we just try to get another day. So keep listening in, and we'll have an update shortly.
Yeah, I hope they'll be able to launch today.
Well,
Graham said wash your hands.
Okay. I gotta eat.
well, it's looking like it's probably gonna get scrubbed anyway. So,
Yeah.
if you leave it up, I'll stick around until the full cancel,
Mm.
or not. It's fine either way.
They've gotten rid of the countdown till the countdown thing.
All right, and we did just hear the
Oh,
call.
no. Just gotta
scrub.
freeze.
So we had a
Okay.
couple holds
Whoa, I
trip
can eat.
as
We're
we
scrubbed.
started counting down.
Goodbye.
Have a good dinner.